Welcome to another edition of Talking SANFL. Great to have your company this week. My name is Andrew Hayes. Very, very special guest with me as well. This is Josh Carmichael from the West Adelaide Footy Club. Josh, good to see you in West Adelaide colours because this is going to go to air after the mid-season draft, and fortunately for SANFL fans, this might be the last time, at least for a while, that you're going to be in this kit.
I'll keep it around though. I'll wear it on the off days. Hopefully, fingers crossed, something goes my way tomorrow night. But yeah, love my journey at Westies.
Well, mate, it's been quite a journey. It's been a short journey, and the term smoking and all those types of things comes to mind when talking about your journey. From the Sunraysia Footy League, take us through from where you were last year to playing for the Bloods.
Yeah, so last year I come to West Adelaide for straight from Darwin. I come for about 5 or 6 weeks before Christmas. And then ended up going back home, had a few things going on with my family, and with COVID made it hard to play SANFL. So went home, played about 8 or 9 games before the season got canned, and then obviously had the chance to come straight back into Westies this year, and full pre-season under my belt, and then a few games in now, so it's a bit of a roller coaster.
Oh, mate, it has been a roller coaster because who knows what's on the horizon. But when you turned up at Richmond early in the year, what were the expectations? What were the goals? Did you have any?
I sort of just wanted to give it me all. I was in the right space to sort of submerge into it fully. So I just wanted to give it me best and let everything else take care of itself. It did a lot to make sure my body was in tip-top shape. So I guess that helped a lot, and then wanted to learn. So,
are you in sort of, I suppose, career best nick? And is it a jump up, the fitness from where you've been at? Yeah,
for sure. I'd be miles ahead of anywhere. This is the fittest I've been by a long way. So for sure. I guess all the training you're doing, that sort of naturally gets you fit, but I've done a few extras, so a lot fitter than I was in country footy, I'll tell you that.
Right. I was just thinking that I don't want to embarrass you by asking you to compare yourself to an AFL footballer, but you're probably used to this with the recruiting questions and such over the last couple of weeks. But we've seen the vision. We love the way that you play. What is there someone's game that you model yourself on?
Yeah, absolutely. I've grown up going for the Tigers, so love Dusty. Always try to do the things he does, and modelled him. But obviously, Dusty's Dusty. But I'd say I show a little few glimpses of Dusty.
Have you imagined yourself playing AFL footy?
Not really. It feels a bit surreal. Like as a kid, you always grow up thinking about it, and admiring the guys that did play AFL footy, and now it's kind of starting to sink in that might be me one day, and that's pretty cool to think about for sure.
What about the feedback from some of, I suppose, ex-teammates in the country or even some mates? Have they got their head around potentially what's going to happen?
They're all carrying on a bit. They seem to think it's pretty cool. Every now and again I get a call from one of my mates asking me what's going on, and say, mate, I know about as much as you. I'm just out here kicking the footy and hopefully see what happens tomorrow night. But a few of them are coming across from back home, a few mates from here. So hopefully, have a quiet beer and there's something to celebrate. Yeah,
well, mate, it's an exciting time, and we can't wait to see how it all unfolds. And just another question about the Bloods. In terms of coaches, players, who's really helped you develop?
So both Adam and Hamish Hartlett have been big for me. Coming there, I already knew Adam pretty well. They've sort of both taken me under their wing and sort of, shown me how to get better and helped me improve. Been hard on me, but also been a good friend through it. So they've been massive in my journey, as well as Gotchi. He's sort of stuck by me too. So they've been massive in my journey this year, improving as a footballer. And then obviously blokes like Wayne Seekman and Derek Bonner have been massive, more off field.
I suppose first and foremost, the goal of the Bloods to win games of footy, and that's absolutely paramount. But at what stage, how many games in did someone sort of have a chat with you and say, oh, look, could be a realistic option that something could happen in the mid-season draft?
Pretty much after the Woodville game, things started, that was the first time I sort of become aware that it might be a possibility. Just from there it kind of snowballed. First and foremost in my mind was obviously doing everything for the Bloods, trying to win games, trying to get better and improving. The last couple of weeks it's sort of become more of a in my mind that it could happen, and I was pretty excited. So. Love the Bloods. We do all the right things, tick all the boxes, and they'll get there, the young group.
Yeah, absolutely. I dare say losing you is not going to help, but it's a long game. We know that, and we wish you all the best. Stick around, Josh. We'll go through the entire show, but just before we get into it, we need to thank iPerform Sports Injury Clinic, and also, of course, Top Sport, want to bet on the SANFL, get more markets and top odds with Top Sports, so you can absolutely top that. Just a quick cap on the reserves from the weekend. So the Redlegs went down to the Roosters. The Bulldogs, unfortunately, went down to the Bays. Bays looking pretty strong there. Panthers went down to the Bloods, and Sturt got the job done against the Eagles. Very low scoring for the Eagles, 1-5. Take us through the Bloods reserves, because they're going really, really well. There's obviously some good depth in there and potentially a few players that we should keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're on top of the ladder, which is pretty nice to see. A few young blokes there who are going to be really good footballers. You got Cade Kennedy in there in the midfield. He sort of sets a tone. Harry Lemmy up forward, kicked a few on the weekend. So, no, they're going to be really good footballers. And Paddy Fairley, obviously, experienced campaign. He's leading from the front the last few weeks.
Just a bit of a word on Harry Lemmy as well. There's some really, really strong, encouraging words coming out of the Bloods and all these comparisons to Rolly Thilthorpe, but they've obviously got a lot to work with, and he's a serious future talent. Yeah,
absolutely. He wants to learn, and that's where you got to go for a kid. They got to want to get better, and he does for sure. Takes everything in. You see him after training doing a bit of work with Keo sometimes, bit of bodywork stuff. So yeah, he'll get taught the right way, and he'll be a star for sure.
Fantastic. Good to see some good young talent coming through Richmond Oval. Quick recap as well from the Women's Grand Final. Congratulations to the Roosters. Got the job done against Sturt. Sturt actually started really, really well. Congrats to Zoe Prowse from Sturt, who won the Best On Ground medal. So she has a future, no doubt, particularly at the Crows. Let's talk about the round that was. The first game was the Redlegs hosting the Crows. This was a massive game for the Redlegs to, I know it's still early, but to keep their season alive. Matt Panos, 4 goals in his return, including the match winner. The Redlegs, and you've pretty much played everyone now, Josh, but the Redlegs are that team that still feels like they're developing, but they're going to push for the 5.
Yeah, for sure. No, I reckon they'll be good. I watched the game on the weekend. It was pretty exciting. That goal from Panos at the end was pretty good to watch. But yeah, they've got a lot of good fellas in there. I think, once they sort of find their feet together, they're going to be a force this year. I've said that from the start. They've got good stocks in the midfield there with Boydie, Brokes and Nunny. So yeah, they're going to be good.
And I suppose the thing about the Crows is it's a matter of who's playing each week.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't really know what you're going to get, but on their day they can obviously beat anyone. They're on top of, are they still on top of? No, they're not quite on the top, but yeah, they're right up there. So they can do anything on their day, for sure.
They've slipped off the top of the ladder and they've been replaced by the Roosters, who had a big win over Port Adelaide. On top of that, Aaron Young just, boys, 45 disposals.
That's plenty of it, isn't it?
Harrison Wigg had 35. It's a side that still doesn't even have Andrew Moore, so their midfield is absolutely stacked.
Yeah, for sure. 45 and 35, that's a fair bit between them.
Spread.
Wiggy does that every week though.
Yeah.
So does Young, I guess, but yeah, they're good class.
You'd like to see someone like Harrison Wigg get another opportunity at the level, whatever stage of the year it is, but in the meantime, Jacob Surgeon's doing some really good things there. For Port Adelaide, we're all footy fans at the end of the day. Really disappointing and sort of heartbreaking to see Horacio Fantasia go down, because this is a bloke who has got so much talent and just hasn't been able to show it on full display. And I suppose you're playing footy with a guy now who's played in the early parts of his career with that in Hamish Hartlett.
Yeah.
So you see teammates go through things like this.
Yeah.
It must be really hard and a genuine mental challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the way they have to respond to injuries, and you got to give credit to them, because it's not easy, and especially when all your mates are out there having fun, enjoying it, and you're doing all the hard work, doing the rehab and that. It's pretty special to see people come back from that, and it's a credit to them for being able to, because that would take a lot out of you mentally for sure.
Yeah, so Horacio probably at least a month on the sidelines before he comes back via the SANFL. Next game, so the Bays got the job done against Centrals out at the Ponderosa. Playing out at the Ponderosa, you love the fact that no one likes going out there, but the Bays did enough to get it done. Matty Smoot was very good, as was Darcy Bailey. Next game was the Panthers at home getting the job done against your Bloods. Now, it was a big third quarter from South, but it seemed like you guys were very much a chance here.
Yeah, for sure. Leading at half time was a bit disappointing, not to stick around a bit closer, but just those little lapses, unfortunately. They got away a little bit, and we couldn't quite peg it back, but we showed glimpses that we can match it with anyone. So that was promising, but unfortunately didn't quite get it done.
So it feels like you guys, I mean, obviously you'd like some more wins. That's an obvious statement, but it is tracking in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Got a lot of young kids in the mids. We were saying the other day we've only got about 50 combined games between our whole midfield with me, Jolly Stevens, Charlie Allen, Lockie Squire. Obviously take Hearts out because he's had plenty of games, but yeah, no, we're still very young and we're learning. So we're ticking all the boxes, learning heaps. So hopefully, yeah, it comes along for us quicker.
Final game of the round, the Eagles pretty much smashed Sturt at Sturt, which was probably a little bit surprising, but the Eagles are very much up and about. I think Rolly Knight had a couple of touches. He got 48.
That's a few.
That's the most amount of touches you've had.
Nowhere near 48, I don't think. But yeah, no, that's awesome. That's a huge game, so good on Nida.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. So the Eagles are looking very, very good at the minute. Dan Menzel kicked 3 goals.
He's a star, isn't he?
He is a star. He's very much a star. Now, before we throw to Dan Menzel in the bunker, you know Dan Menzel before he got to the Bloods.
Yeah.
Take us through it.
Yeah, so a couple of years back, me and my mates finished a game of indoor cricket. Thought we'd go to the pub for a beer and go in there. And
this is Mildura?
Yeah, in Mildura. I think it was the Sandbar. Yeah, we walk in there. A couple of yeah, my mates are footy nuts, and we walk in there, go to the bar, and one of my mates goes, "Was that Daniel Menzel over there?" I'm like, "What would Daniel Menzel be doing in Mildura?" Turns out it was Daniel Menzel. He was driving from Sydney, back here, and he stopped in Mildura for a night. So he's just minding his own business, having a feed, probably not expecting to see anyone come bug him. But yeah, me and my mates went up to him and sort of said we'll have a beer with him. Asked if we could have a beer with him, and obviously, and then we had a few beers, stacked up a few in front of the big fella, and he tipped a few back, and then he ended up staying at my house for a couple of nights, playing a bit of golf. We got along really well. Then he thought he'd never see me again, and then rocked up alongside him in the state team, and he was like, "Well, that's pretty funny, isn't it?" But yeah, no, that was a good story.
So all I can take from that is that he missed out on an opportunity to recruit you to the Eagles.
yeah, I reckon. If he had got onto me then, I reckon I would have jumped at the chance. But it was good fun.
Very good stuff. We'll take a quick look at the ladder as well. So North Adelaide, a game clear now on top in front of Adelaide. So like we said before, Crows, we'll have to wait and see what they do with their team. Glenelg's still in the mix. Sturt still hanging around as well. Expect a big response from them this week. And the Eagles ran out the top 5. But it would seem as well that there's probably, Port on the day can play some good football, but at least Norwood and South that would fancy themselves at some stage to jump into the 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I like Norwood. I reckon they'll be in the 5 at some stage, and I reckon they could go a fair way if they got there. And South, they're pretty good too. I'm sure they'll jump in at some stage. But yeah, be interesting to see over the next few weeks how that sort of alters.
Yep, absolutely. All right, it's time for everyone's favourite segment. Let's jump into the bunker with Dan Menzel. And Menz, what happened? Josh Carmichael, he should have been an Eagle.
Yes, hello and welcome to another edition of The Bunker. Just before I get started on that, Hazy, you're right, I did miss an opportunity. I don't think Sheeds knows that I could have recruited Joshy Carmichael, but it has played out for the best, and hopefully he'll be at an AFL club as early as right now when we release this show. So let's move on to this week's edition of The Bunker, and this week it is the SANFL MVP 321 of the month. So we're going to do it as we have in the past. We're going to have 3 players that are stiff to miss, and then we're going to have our 1 vote, our 2 vote, and our 3 votes. So I'm going to start with a couple of guys that are stiff to miss this month's Player of the Month. And we all know that midfielders get all the rewards. They get the McGarry medal, they get their names up in the lights. But there's a couple of bigger guys around the competition that have been dominating of late, and I've got to give them kudos to how well they've been playing. And that's Harry Boyd and Mitch Harvey. Couple of big ruckmen in the competition. They got roughly 20 coaches' votes this month each, and probably 4 or 5 McGarry medal votes as well. So Harry Boyd obviously played in the state game for South Australia. He's come on really well, and he's been massive for Norwood in the ruck. And Mitch Harvey is a massive reason as to why North Adelaide are on top of the ladder. So absolutely got to give those 2 guys a shout out. The third one, the other one who's stiff to miss, and this bloke will love getting a shout out, is Rory Lehman from the Eagles. And might come as a surprise to most that I'm putting him in the top 6 players in the comp for this month. But have a listen to these stats. He's playing at full back. He's had 4 goals kicked on him in the 4 games of this month. He's only had the 5 scoring shots. He's played on Fraser 4 at Centrals, Charlie Dixon at Port Adelaide, Elliot Himmelberg at Adelaide, and Abe Davis, who's currently second in the goal kicking, and kept them to 4 goals between them in 4 games. So Himmelberg's played AFL for most of the year. Charlie Dixon, we all know what he can do. Abe Davis has kicked bags this season. So Rory Lehman, an incredible month. Defenders don't get the recognition as well as forwards as well, as maybe midfielders do. And so here you go, Rory, here's your recognition. Great month, continue your form for the Eagles. So let's move on to our number one, our one vote for the MVP in this month, and it goes to this guy on screen, Riley Knight. Riley Knight, he's averaging 32 touches a game. He's only played 3 games this month, and there's probably the reason why he isn't the number 2 or the number 1 player of the month. He's averaging 32 from 3 games. I've got him down for 6 McGarry votes in this month. And as Hazy alluded to, and Josh, you talked about it before, he had 48 touches on the weekend against Sturt. An incredible game. He's in incredible form. He had 37 touches in the state game against WA, and it's why he gets our 1 vote. For 2 votes, it is Aaron Young from North Adelaide. He is averaging 31 touches a game. You'll see here in the clips, he gets around the ground, he's great around clearances, but not just that, he's kicking goals. He's kicked 5 goals this month. He's averaging those 31 touches, and I've got him down for 7 McGarry votes, and it's a big reason why, with him in the engine room, along with Mitch Harvey, as I touched on, why North Adelaide is dominating the competition at the moment. Let's move to our 3 votes, and it goes to the man on screen, Campbell Coon, another North Adelaide player. He is averaging, have a listen to these numbers, 31 touches this month, 8 clearances and 6 tackles a game. I've got him down for 7 McGarry votes in this month, and I think he's the only player that probably will poll a vote in every single game of this month. He's been that consistent, he has been so good for them in the middle. And the other thing I've loved about his game this year is it's not just him winning the ball, he's gone to guys like Bryce Gibbs, like Paddy Wilson, and he's shut them out of games. So not only is he having 31 himself a game, but he's actually shutting out the opposition best player. That's why I've got Campbell Coombe, who played in the state game as well. He's having a great month and a great year. That's why North Adelaide is 7-1. Campbell Coombe, Aaron Young, Mitch Harvey, and even Harrison Wing's another. He's in some great form at the moment. So there you have it, your 3-2-1 players of the month. Really looking forward to next week's edition of The Bunker. It will be our top 10 players of the month.
Good stuff, Menz. All right, let's go through the coming games this week. Of course, thanks to Top Sport, and you're going to see the Top Sport odds coming up for these games. We'll start with the Bays taking on Your Bloods, Josh. Yep. Obviously, we're expecting you to be a bit of an out, which is a good thing for you, not so much for the Bloods. But no doubt, we said before that you guys are tracking in the right direction, so you'd fancy yourselves to at least give us a red-hot crack. Yeah,
for sure. I'm sure the boys will be keen. Obviously, we're just desperate for that first win. So yeah, hopefully we go right. Obviously the Bays are classy opposition, but I feel like if we bring our best, we can match it with anyone. So hopefully, we bring that and give them a shot.
One of the toughest tests in SANFL football at the minute, I would say, would be the Roosters at Prospect. Tough gig for the Redlegs, but the Redlegs are coming off a really, really good win.
Yeah, they'll have their tails up, the old legs. Like I said, I reckon they're a bit of a smoky, but I reckon they're playing some good footy, but obviously it's the toughest challenge you're going to face, so see what happens.
This one will be interesting. Sturt taking on the Crows, and you expect a massive response from Sturt off the back of that loss to the Eagles. But this is the Adelaide Oval. First and foremost, as a SANFL player, we'll call you a former SANFL player, the opportunity to play games either before or after an AFL match. Is that something absolutely embraced by the players? Oh,
for sure, yeah. That'd be exciting. To play on Adelaide Oval for anyone is pretty cool, I would imagine. Haven't done it myself, but I reckon obviously the Sturt boys will love being out there, and maybe under the lights it's not under the lights, but on the big stage they might show out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll wait and see what the Crows do with selections. And also Adelaide Oval, just how big it is compared to Unley. Very, very different dimensions. Yeah. Last game of the round, the Eagles taking on the Panthers. That's going to be at home. That's going to be tough for the Panthers. In saying that, the Eagles are just playing such a good, solid brand of football. We saw Riley Knight get 48 disposals. Dan Menzel, in fact, the Menzel brothers look so good up forward. And really good to see Jimmy Tompkins back in there after an interrupted start of the season. So the Eagles look really good. They've got a really nice midfield. Yeah,
that'll be hard to beat, I reckon. Do you reckon Knight will get a tag after 48?
It's the perfect... It is a recipe for a tag.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Very surprised if there isn't a Panther that goes to Riley Knight after a performance like that. Mid-game, what do you do in a situation like that? You played against oppositions where there's someone who just... Riley Knight was on fire.
Yeah, 48, that's unheard of.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you'd think you'd throw someone on him, wouldn't you? I don't know what he had at the half, but yeah, you'd think you would.
You would think so, but Riley Knight's that good that he might be able to shake a tack.
He's a class act.
There you go. So that was our round 8 preview. Let's jump into the Eliminator events.
Welcome to the Top Sport Eliminator, the SANFL betting partner. Want to bet on the SANFL? Get more markets and get top odds with Top Sport, top that. So as we jump into it, Hazy unfortunately was knocked out in week 1. He picked Adelaide. We weren't certain about it. Hazy, what happened?
I just, a bit of a rush of blood. I think I blacked out. I don't even remember the situation, but yeah, I learnt from my mistakes, Menz, and we'll try and be better next time, I suppose.
We'll try and be better next time. We might have something for him shortly to come. So let's jump into this week's Eliminator. And the weekend's games are shown on the screen right now. So if you have a look at those games, there's a couple probably obvious ones with those odds that stand out. And I'm going to go with one of those ones. I'm going to go Glenelg to beat West Adelaide this week as my Eliminator pick. I obviously used South Adelaide last week. Glenelg is going to be my pick in week 2. We're going to throw to Joshy with a celeb pick. And so last week they used up Glenelg. So Joshy, who are you going to go for the celeb pick this week?
I'm going to go the Eagles to beat the Panthers, I reckon.
Eagles to beat the Panthers, don't mind it. Hopefully we can stay alive for another week. Hazy obviously out. But what we have done is we've given him something to focus on. So he's out of the Eliminator, but thanks to Top Sport, we're going to have Hazy's multi. So let's see if you can fare a bit better in this segment, Hazy, and what do you got for us?
Well, first and foremost, Menz, thanks for the opportunity for re-injecting me into this segment. Really appreciate that. Yeah, and you're right, thanks to Top Sport. So I'm not a greedy man. I'm just going to go 2 games. I just think the Roosters are almost at a stage now, right at the moment, they're almost unbeatable at prospects. So I've got the Roosters to beat the Red Leagues, and I'll take Sturt to beat the Crows. Even though it is at Adelaide Oval, I just feel like a big response is coming from Sturt.
I like that. He's got some good odds there, as you can see on the screen too. He hasn't gone for the absolute certainties. He's put a little bit on that, which is great, and obviously we'll win some money for charity as well as the year goes on with those head-to-head markets. So great work, Hazy. Really good to have you guys on, and I'll let you wrap up the show for today.
Good stuff. Big thanks to Josh Carmichael. We've got him just before he hits the big smoke. So congratulations, mate. Like we said before, we're not sure exactly what's going to happen, but it was nice to see you briefly playing in the SANFL, and no doubt you'll keep an eye on the Bloods and what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hazy. Thank you, Menz. It was good fun coming on here.
Very good stuff.
Chat a bit of footy.
We'll catch you next week, of course. You've been watching Talking SANFL, and if you get an opportunity, make sure you get out and about on the weekend and support your local side.